Yo,
Yo, what's up?
how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. How about you?
Cool. I'm doing well. I had a good weekend, so now I'm just back home. I'm feeling pretty into melee right now, so that's good. Okay, so what's up? How's the melee going? What seems to be the issue?
Okay, so for this lesson, I want to kind of focus on mentality and the Fox matchup. And so I kind of wanted to kind of go back and talk about our last lesson a little bit because I've grown a lot as a player and I now have net play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty, that's kind of boosted my progress a good amount.
That's
So,
good.
yeah, so before our first lesson, we did like analysis and stuff and solo practice stuff. So this time I kind of want to focus on like tournament mentality and specifically my Fox matchup.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right, so I'm pulling up the first Slippy file, and we'll just hop right in. I'll stream it for you. Okay. So let's see. Okay, overall, so far it looks pretty. Oh, did not mean to skip that. Okay, let's start over. Okay, so overall, not bad. I think you have to watch out for doing this. Like, laser in place over and over. And then when you move forward, doing like another laser right here. It's like, it's
Right.
very, like, kind of like, what's the word? Like, on the nose or whatever. It's very like, oh, I'm lasering in place over and over, and then the first dash forward I do is like is me telling the truth, you know? So like it's sort of like a situation where um it's kind of like, if you did laser, 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 aerial in place, the aerial in place looks really similar to the lasers because you kept doing like standing jump, and then like you can change up what you're doing. But if you're not doing any dashes, like I would have suggested like laser, laser, maybe dash in, dash back, then dash in, jump, laser, or whatever. Just like the more information you give your opponent to be confused about, the better. And sort of doing, it's just something to watch out for, is like jumping in on your very first dash in of any neutral exchange is like kind of, it ends up getting you hurt more than it helps a lot of times.
Yeah. That's something I was trying to work on as well was so like my two things that I was working on this session were holding center stage
Mm-hmm.
and like holding my ground and not getting pushed to the corner too much. And then when I approach, I don't want to make it as obvious when I'm approaching. And I've been like adding dash chances and
Mm-hmm.
uh, different amounts of lasers before I go in. But yeah, that's something I didn't consider.
Okay. It's getting comboed. Okay. It's hard to cover that. You can, but it's not a big deal. Oof, that's scary. Okay. Definitely be careful trying to kill people off of the ledge situation. Like maybe versus some opponents it'll work, but this is kind of like a you don't learn much doing this. There's um there is a backer that you can kind of do here, and it's like when you're right in this position, kind of where Fox is, and he ledge dashes, you can do dash away back air right here,
Okay.
and that'll sort of make it so if he does do this shield, then the back air will hit his shield, and you'll be all the way over here. But doing this one is like not super good. Let's see. Hmm. Yeah, so like this is that kind of that same dash dancing thing. And like yeah, I'm just going to kind of go over and just talk about what I see, and then we can kind of discuss more abstract things or like the tournament mentality stuff as we go along, I think. Um if you're cool with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So when you're playing neutral as Falco against Fox, it's really important that you kind of have in your mind like who is chasing who, especially on like this stage, because you can't really like stalemate with the platforms or whatever. And so there's sort of like when you want it to feel like Fox is chasing you and then you suddenly like jump forward and hit him, or that you're chasing Fox but you like undershoot and then he tries to like punish your approach. And so there's like a spot like right here. So notice that it's like this laser is clearly defensive, like your dash back lasering. So you're like, okay, Fox, maybe I'm being defensive, and then you just go in. Like it there's no like ambiguity here. I'll show you. Let me just pull up this is definitely something that I feel like is like really, really common among Falcos to sort of like not really get. And it's really important because you're kind of doing like that, you know? Like you'll move back and you'll do this and then you'll go in. But what you want is you want a situation where like, let's say I'm right here, this going back, I might want to do this to make Fox think that like I'm about to do this defensive laser, and then I don't. So Mango's really good at doing these where it's like dash back and then dash in instant laser. So it looks like I'm doing this, but I'm actually about to go in. And so doing that and sort of mixing in that like aggression and defense better is super important. Because like if you do this, there's a lot of times Foxes will down tilt, they'll up smash. But if you do this, or like that, that is a lot better. Because he can't just like believe you on your first dash in and win. And then in this case he can't believe your dash back because your dash back might be setting up for that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think part of it, my issue is spacing as well in terms of that. Like, but yeah, mixing up my defensive options, especially my lasers. I usually only defensively move and then mix up, but like I don't actively mix up my defensive lasers with my aggressive options, I don't think.
Like what you basically should be thinking, I'm gonna make it look like I'm gonna kind of run away and laser. Like anytime you attack, it should feel like, or like most times you attack, it should be kind of like a surprise. It shouldn't be like, well, Falco has this big advantage, here he comes. Sometimes you'll get that, but like majority of the time in sort of like overall neutral, it's like going for like this where you're like laser, 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 approaching laser. It doesn't feel like a retreat in any form. It's just sort of like you're just sort of going in. And a lot of times like there's no timing mix up there. Here's another case where like this is sort of just to describe like what I was talking about, where it's like you've now done two like dash back lasers right here. And so then for this one, there's the third one right here. When you dash away, he is thinking you're gonna be running away and lasering more. So this is a good opportunity to like attack in, you know?
Yeah.
Just sort of trying to describe that concept. It's just something that I've like noticed is like sort of underused, and a lot of times if you're not doing that right, a lot of times the neutral against Fox in particular will feel like very weird. You can kind of do like those retreating laser things against like Sheik and stuff, and she can't, or like Falcon, and they don't really have like a good like way in. But Fox is just so fast that if you're not using them, a lot of times it'll feel like you can't really keep him out successfully in neutral. Like a lot of times your ability to keep Fox out with defensive lasers is kind of like the glue that holds it together, is that he has to be afraid of you dash back, dash inning instead of, you know, going for the defensive laser. He has to be worried that it's like a bait. Okay. Okay, good. Good edge guard until that, but that's just like an error. Like the edge guard was good. Not too fond of the dash attack. I think a lot of times just sort of hunt for jab at like higher percent. Like just sort of very defensively look for either a jab or a back air.
Okay.
Try this. I think this is another minor thing, but on FD a lot of times this up air is not as good because like on the other stages, if they go straight up from this up air, you can get like a shine on waveland on the top plat or something. But on this stage, a lot of times it's just a lot more useful to just sort of carry them off the stage with like the more
Like,
horizontal moves, just like back air or whatever.
yeah.
Like back air a lot of times with like forward momentum. So like let's see, was it right here? Yeah, okay. So like if you're right here, you hit this, maybe just like either a dash dance like full hop back air or try to like wait for him and then maybe like up tilt here. I think you could have up tilted, but I'm not sure.
Pretty sure I could have, yeah.
All right, what are you thinking? I've just been kind of talking. I'm not sure really like what your thoughts are on any of this.
I'm absorbing right
okay,
now.
okay. You're okay. You're good then. So look, this is that same thing again. Look. Watch what happens. So you're here. You're telling Fox right here. After this, you're like, I'm going to dash back and laser. This is like a purely defensive option, and he reads it. But he has kind of like a license to read it because this dash back is never like you're not doing the other half of the mix-up by hitting Fox for dashing in here. So like doing this laser is fine, but you need to like half the time down air when he runs in like this. Like be like, oh, here I go, I'm in a retreating laser. Just kidding, I hit you. That's like actually really important here. And if you don't do it, like the neutral game just kind of won't work against Fox. And then
Yeah, I won't be able to keep him out like you said.
So you kind of end up in this situation where you're like, oh, retreating laser, and then in place laser, which is also fine, and he's kind of getting closer, and now you're like, well, he's really close, so I should probably just like aerial in, you know? But like there's like a big lack of nuance to that where it's like retreating, and now he's close enough, and now I'm gonna attack. There was no like fake out there. And he got hit by it, and like you will get openings off of that, but it's not the way you should be playing if you want to be like the most effective against Fox. It needs to be very like your aggression should not be as like both your aggression and your defense should not be like as committal as they currently are. It should feel a lot more like am I gonna run away, or am I actually approaching you right now? And that balance of the neutral keeps Fox from sort of like hyper disrespecting you, which is what Foxes love to do. Okay. Let's see. This was a little bit better with this dash dance. But once again, it's specifically this laser that you do a lot, like this one, where it's just very clearly like defensive. This one was not bad. The thing is, this is like sort of okay. This is kind of like closer to like what I wanted, where you like, hey Fox, I'm dipping, and then he kind of comes in, and you're like down to dash dance and watch what he does. I think that this is okay to do. Like, there's nothing wrong with dash dancing here. It's not really the concept I was talking about, but it's fine. And then this, lasering his dash away. I think this is overall not bad. Oh, okay, I actually... So, I'm trying to figure out... The neutral game is so complicated for Falco. So, I think this is generally good where you kind of read him leaving here and then hitting him with this laser. But there's sort of like... If I'm Fox here, there's like a distinct impression that Falco is probably going to like force something here or try to force something here. I don't get hit by this laser and then think like, oh, I'm gonna attack Falco. You know, like Falco has look at like you're definitely positive on frames here. You could have already been airborne. Fox is like, this is your time on the offense. So when you kind of don't do it and you're kind of like looking for him to approach, it's sort of giving up your advantage, and then you're like, oh, but look, I'm doing the thing where I run away and then jump in, which is kind of the thing I was talking about, like this laser. But this laser is only good when he actually believes you that you're running away. And there was no reason to believe you were running away because you were at a position of advantage right here. So like in this position, he's thinking Falco is going to do something to get in on me. So doing this into this approach, it's just very like, oh yeah, he definitely, like, you took your opportunity to come in, but it was like delayed because you kind of tried to do this mix up. So it's just something to kind of be like really conscious of. Okay, this was good. I like this one. And notice this is kind of why it worked, is that you're like, I'm walling, and you're like, oh, you know what, you're a little close, Fox. I'm kind of scared. I think I'm going to head back here and shoot another laser, even though it's kind of a bad idea for me in the corner. And Fox is like, ah, ha, ha, the perfect time to attack. And then you're like, oh, guess what? Here I am. Notice how much cleaner that feels than like those other spots where like laser, nair, or whatever, you know? Because it has that whole thought process of like, stay away from me, and then you're like, here, I'm gonna give up even more space. Just kidding, and then you hit him. And then because of that, next time when you dash back laser, even if you're in center or whatever, he can't just run in all the way at you, you know? Because he has to be afraid that you might do this. But also, I've noticed you haven't done any dash back, dash in aerials either, and those are very good. In the exact same reason, like that laser is good, those aerials are good.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the dash back aerials being something that I need to implement more.
That was okay. That was okay there. It's funny because I've been talking about like neutral the whole time, but I think like the reason you lost this match, or like at least this match was even kind of close, was mostly just drop punishes. Like you're not like killing out of your punishes. I think on this stage, just keep it as simple as possible. Carry them to the edge and kind of fiend for forward smash or down smash. See, like, yeah, like right here, it's like if you hit this, if you shine there, he DIs out. He was holding out. That's why he walked away. He would have gone here. You do wave dash, either down tilt or forward smash, and he's probably dead. Would have just... Every Fox in the world is hyper prepared for this, for this down air. Like, yes, this was a dashback down air, but the thing is like, it's very unlikely that Fox is going to chase into the corner. Like, he might, but it's pretty unlikely. Usually they wait for you to leave the corner. So that's just... Like, a lot of these things are, like, sort of small, I guess, but it's sort of positional understanding of what's going on. And I think you could probably get away with more full hop out of the corner. It seems like you're kind of like, oh man, I really have to, like, fight my way out fair and square. But a lot of times the full hop is good enough. Like, if you dash full hop or whatever... He can't really pressure in like he kind of can, but you win a lot of the mix-ups with like falling back air and stuff like that.
Yeah, now that you mention it, you said dash full hop. A lot of times I get punished for just full hopping straight out of the corner. So maybe adding the dash would help me get to
the dash helps a lot because you basically end up like over center stage, way high up, and it's like even if he gets you coming down, he has to kind of, like, you have a chance to hit him. Like, if he tries to hit you coming down, you have a chance to hit him. Like, off the full hop. That's just how it is. Like, either he has to make some sort of read on either you drifting in and down airing, drifting away and back airing, drifting in and back airing, lasering. He has to worry about those. And you have your double jump. So it's like, he doesn't really have a lot of... And, like let's say you do this full hop to center... And he's like, oh, I have your drift perfectly read. Then you can double jump. And, like, yeah, you don't really want to use your double jump all the time. But you still have that same, like, down air, back air, like, laser type mix-up, you know? Even on FD. Okay, what happened here? Okay, so, yeah. So, it's like you realize that dash back, dash in laser is good. Because I see you doing it. And you probably took it from Mango, like we all did. But it doesn't seem like you know why. Because, and this is like a big thing, is like, you you are like massively approaching here. You're like, okay, I hit one laser, I have advantage. I hit a second laser, I have advantage. Fox does not think you're about to run away from him right here. Like, you just, like, laser approaching laser, like, here I come, and then you're like, I'm gonna dash back. Like, he's not gonna believe you, because he doesn't feel like he's approaching, you know? Like, this dash back into dash in laser or dash in aerial is for when you think Fox is going to rush in on you. In these cases where you have the sort of approach advantage, like off of a laser, you really do want to dash in more in these spots against Fox. Because you want to threaten, like, laser, approaching laser, dash in, down air, or something dumb, right? Like, I always tell people is, like, you need to convince him that you are that caveman Falco, who is just going to laser down air in every time, and then never really do it, but, like, he has to feel it. So, like, you getting you got a laser advantage, you ended up frame positive in this spot, and then you're not pressing the advantage with, like, a dash in. Like, the dash back is basically useless, because he's not going to rush in right there. Or he's not likely to, because that's not, like, the way the conversation is kind of going. And that's why he ends up catching you here. Is because you're like, you got an advantage, and then you kind of like retreat, I guess. Although the down air would have hit him here, but I still don't think it super makes sense to do. And so here's a spot where you get, so this is you're playing neutral, totally fine here. This is good. You get this approaching laser read, and he gets stuck in the corner. Notice that immediately afterward you jump forward. And he believes you. He's like, oh, he's going to immediately try to down air me, which is why he tries to grab the down air. And so this is, you know, maybe this is a spot where you could have double jump waveland, drop through down air or something. But regardless, like, you have to, like, see the communication you just made, you know? That, like, this is why this happens, is that you get in this advantage. And it's like, if you dashed back here, it wouldn't have done anything, because why would you dash back once you have an advantage, you know? So your movement forward here is what baited him, because you had an advantage. Aha, but right here, once this fails, and he kind of just barely misses this grab, it feels like now you're kind of on the back foot. You know, it feels like, uh-oh, I'm kind of stuck close to Fox, so when you dash away right here and you shoot this laser, or you tried to shoot this laser, he's kind of... It feels like you're retreating now, and it feels like it's Fox's turn to come over and get you, which is why maybe doing, like, this aerial, like, retreating aerial here, or not retreating, like, dash back, dash in aerial here would have been good. Like, right here. You know, after this laser. Like, right here, because you're running away. Let's say you laser here, and then you dash back, dash in aerial. It's really good, and he kind of takes the bait anyway. Like, I would have hit him with this down air, just because, like, remember, you're like, oh, look, I'm scared, I'm moving away. And then Fox is like, well, thanks for giving up the space, I'll move towards you. And then you hit him, you know? You hit him, like, by taking up the middle of it. But a lot of times, okay, yeah, it's hard to describe all of these because they all seem specific, but there's, like, there's like a type of reasoning that I want you to kind of tune into on, like, the flow of who's approaching and who's defending in a situation.
Also, who has advantage?
Yes, but a lot of times it's not necessarily an advantaged or disadvantaged situation. With the lasers, yeah, like, if you get, like, an advantage laser or whatever, but you can definitely feel there are spots where you are trying to get in on Fox, and when you are trying to keep Fox out with your lasers. And those two things need to be significantly more ambiguous. That's basically what I'm saying. Because right here, you're very clearly approaching. Like, right here, if I was the Fox and you hit me with this laser, I would be dashing away, and you're still kind of, like, throwing stuff. Like, you're very much, like, coming in with these lasers. Like, I think this was, like, triple approaching laser. Like that. And it's kind of like, there's no ambiguity there. There's nothing to really, like, is Falco really coming in? You know, he like you're going, and you're still kind of going, and then right here, you're like, okay, my attack is now over right here after this down air. So you have to be able to recognize that, like, okay, so right here, I am now at a disadvantage, technically. You know, not really something that someone can, like, react to very easily, you know, in a real match or whatever. But, like, you feel bad here. You feel like, oh no, I overcommitted on this down air. I need to get out of the way, you know? And Fox feels the same way. Oh, he overcommitted on the down air? I need to try to hit him with something. So then when you leave right here and you're dashing back, this is very well communicated between both of you. Like, both of you know for a fact it's his turn to come in and it's your turn to leave. But you can abuse that and just hit him for coming in. So, like, when you dash away here, imagine if you had done dash away, dash in aerial right now, the chances of him actually running in on top of you are so much higher. And he does go for the approaching in, because he felt like you were on the defensive or whatever. In this spot, you kind of laser in place. Laser in place is very much like a reset to neutral in a lot of ways, because you're not really, like, you don't really have a lot of forward momentum. So in this position, like, after this, I would say it's kind of ambiguous for, like, what to necessarily do here. You could, like, kind of full hop here. One thing I might try to do is I might do one more laser in place to kind of show him that I'm walling, and then dash back, dash in aerial, or dash in laser. Okay, so you do this, and then you go in. Okay, that worked. You caught him out of the full hop. Okay. Careful of that dash attack tech chase. I do the same thing. Really bad.
Yeah, so bad.
Yeah. And careful of falling into these traps in neutral, where, like, you're not playing the game. Like, right here, it's like, you know for a fact, like, you need to be, like, lasering and setting up your normal play here. There's no reason to do, like, aerial, drift in, shield, spot dodge. Like, that's not in the plan of the laser dashback game that you've been playing so far. And it's just really easy to get sort of sucked into that and just don't. No. Like, every time we play my way, because I'm Falco. Okay, that was good. That's good. Acceptable combo. I do think that you need to sort of think of your combos as more, like, directed towards killing Fox. Because, like, let's say right here, you could have read the exact same thing with a forward tilt. It would have covered all of the exact same options. And it would have killed if you hit him with it, because you can just, you know, down air or, like, shine dare or drop double jump dare or whatever on the up B. So I've just noticed a few cases where it seems like you'd rather kind of keep your combo going, and a lot of times it's more important to get Fox off stage and get, like, a really dangerous situation for him than, you know, keep the combo up. Because, like, if you think about it, like, Falco doesn't kill off of percent against Fox. Like, if you're killing Fox off of percent, you're probably losing. Just right. Because you don't have, like, a Fox up smash or whatever. Most of the time you want to kill Fox at, like, 60. Like, that is your ideal kill range. So when you're kind of hitting him, you should be, like, on a little bit of, like, a timer. Like, okay, like, you know, 3 or 4 hits into off stage and to try to edge guard and kill him. And less so, like, kind of looking for, like, you know, big on stage combos. Not really sure exactly what to make of this. I think you do need to do the dash full hop more, because, like, right here, you're clearly, like, uncomfortable. And you could have just dash, instead of, like, this dash in, or dash away, dash in shield right here, you could have just dash away, dash in full hopped out of the corner. Like, full hopping out of the corner is extremely powerful, and unless he hard reads the exact timing of the full hop, he doesn't really, like, have a way to get you. So instead of sort of fighting uncomfortably out of the corner, a lot of times it's just, like, better to do that. Like, it's just a better option. Okay. Dead. Nice. Okay. It's tough. It's a hard one to hit. Oh wow. Okay.
Right there again.
Yeah, like you can kind of feel it, right? Where it's like there's no really like aggressive or defensive intent, and you don't really want to be like going for stuff without more like like more of like an educated guess. Like it's okay to be doing this. Like this is fine. But then like when you go in here, like this dash back, it's not like he believed you needed more space, you know? Cuz you're kind of like, "Oh, I got to get out of here," but like you're already holding him off really well from this distance. So when he sees you dash back here, all this is doing is making you like work harder to get this approach, you know? Cuz like this dash back, it's not like you had to avoid his short hop nair, or it's not like he was gonna running shine you. It's just kind of there, and it doesn't really serve like a big purpose. And it actually puts you at a range where hitting the laser is like a lot harder here. Okay.
Yeah, it feels like I'm just like constantly trying to reset neutral to just be fair and square when I should just be pushing my advantages more.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing is maintaining neutral, like keeping it, even Stevens or whatever, is good. It's a very good skill to have. It's less about like your issue is less about um like keeping it too neutral and more about when you try to break the neutral and you try to get an advantage, it feels kind of unclear. It feels like it's not based on a lot. It's kind of like, well, I kept Fox in place for a little bit. I guess I'll try my dash back, dash in laser mix up, you know? So it feels like it doesn't have like a lot of like reasoning or force behind it based on like what's really happening in the game of I think honestly, like the most important thing to keep in mind is like, is Fox like, is Fox gonna rush me? My two options are not just get out of the way; they are get out of the way or hit Fox while he's coming in on me. I think that is like a very important like second half of that you're kind of missing. And then when you're like going in, it's okay to only half go in. Like I haven't seen any dash in fade back dares from you yet, like at all. Like there hasn't been a single like dash in and then you fade back dare and then Fox like tries to shield or tries to dash dance grab your full drift dare or whatever. I haven't seen those. So a lot of it is like when you are running away, you are not thinking enough about stopping your opponent from chasing you. And when you are approaching, you're not thinking enough about the fact that your opponent is going to try to get out of the way and sort of like what comes next. A lot of times when I've seen you approach or try to like break the neutral, it seems kind of like hopey or like you're like, here we go, like I'm gonna do my little mix up, and if it hits, I have to pay attention and confirm, and if it misses, I have to DI his combo, you know? And it needs to be more nuanced than that, where it's like I'm approaching kind of, you know? Like you can dash. I also haven't seen a lot of like dash in, dash back laser. You know, like the dash back turnaround laser. Those are good too because you're giving him fake. So like right here, I would have liked to see after this laser, either instant aerial or whatever. But obviously it's hard to confirm this. I think instead of like another laser in place, which doesn't get you anything, even if this hit really, unless he like walked in for whatever reason like he does there. What I really would have liked to see right here is dash in, dash away, like laser in place, because it's at least giving you, a threat. Like you're at least communicating a threat without necessarily like full committing. And yeah, here's you do this dash back, dash in laser here again, but like it's not. He didn't think you were gonna run away, so there's not really a reason to do that. And yeah, it's like, why'd you get here? You just get random full hopped. Kind of random full hopped, yeah, it's okay. Sometimes you're just gonna get hit by full hops. He has like a 1 out of 8 or something, where he'll just randomly full hop and hit you. But
yeah, actually, I wanted to ask, like, what are your other? So like currently my counter options to full hops
yeah,
by Fox are usually like I try to dash dance outside of his range. I'll try to catch his landing with a laser,
Mm-hmm.
and then like combo off of that. Or I might, if it's like higher percents, I might try to get a read with a back air.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I have to like drift away. But I feel like that's all I know
Yeah,
in
I
terms of
mean,
it.
you can up tilt it about half the time. You can, if you think he's gonna drill, you can kind of jump into it. And if you see he nares, sometimes you can CC depending on the percent. But those options you're talking about are pretty much it. A lot of times, like, okay, so here's the thing: no matter what you do, you can't prevent Fox from full hopping. I'm sure you've learned that by now. But you can, the thing you can do is prevent him from being able to full hop in on you, or should I say, all you need is, because the thing is, you cannot prevent Fox from full hopping in on you and hitting you. It's impossible. But you can make the expected value of Fox full hopping in on you really bad for Fox. So, like, maybe 10% of the time, 20% of the time even, his full hop aerial will just hit you, and there's nothing you can do about it, and that's annoying, except for the fact that the other 80% of the time, or maybe 40% of the times, you can kill him, and then the other 40, it's just like a stalemate or whatever, you know?
Right.
So as long as the expected value of his full hops is in your favor, like, you know, let's say Fox full hop nares you, and you're like, oh, I get caught, and then you try to laser again, and, oh, he full hop nared me again, you know, but the full hop nair isn't really, like, leading into anything, you know, and then he, like, full hop dares, and then you up tilt it, and you get, like, a shine combo and you kill him, you know, yeah, he won 2 out of 3 full hop situations, but you won the, you know, the expected value of him full hopping is in your favor, despite him having, like, a high success rate of hitting it, because, you know, he's not a lot of times going to get a big opening off of the full hop, except maybe at high percent. And at high percent, you know, you're playing a lot more defensive anyway, so you're a lot less likely to get hit by, like, a random full hop in. But yeah, that's kind of, like, the strategy. Is, like, sometimes it'll hit, but most of the time it won't. Or, like, most of the time you can convert harder off of reading him than he can off of getting his full hop. And, if someone is full hopping in place too often or something like that, you can do stuff like approaching laser, full hop shine on the platform, and like read their full hop. Like especially a lot of Foxes will do stuff like they'll full hop waveland onto the platform, and that's just like completely free for you to full hop shine it like waveland down or whatever.
Right.
So
that kind of answered my next question. I was gonna ask you about, because like, so I have a local Fox I play against all the time, and if I laser him, he almost, like, as soon as I stop his grounded approaches, he doesn't even give me the chance to try to go for like a dash dance dare mix up or anything. He'll just instantly full hop.
Mm-hmm.
But I always feel like it's dangerous if he's like, because obviously there's a million ways to full hop me. So I'm trying to figure out how to like discourage him from full hopping, even though I can't stop it. Like, just discourage him from doing it as much.
So is he full hopping like straight up?
Sometimes, but sometimes he'll be towards me, or sometimes he'll full hop and then waveland the top platform or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, So there are a couple ways. Let me go into this really quick and try to show you. So one of them is, oops. So one of them is like, let's say I'm at this range, and he does this, and this will happen to me a lot, is you'll do kind of like this, or like you laser him, right, and then he full hops like that. Yeah. And so what you can do is you can like laser, and then you can do this up air. Wow, he short hopped randomly that time? Okay. This up air. Like that. And it'll hit very often after like a laser, so I'll like laser someone. Wow, I suck. Wow, I super suck. And then you can kind of hit it like that. And I hit it like a lot of top players with this. It's kind of like when you're really close to them, or like reasonably close, and you think they're about to full hop out, you can a lot of times even like catch them like on their way up like that. And you'll, like, this is definitely just something to like try out, but like you can, it's definitely a thing. and you'll get a lot of openings off of it if somebody is sort of just like mindlessly full hopping. Um, the other thing, obviously, is like the jump shine, on the full hop. Because here's the thing: is he can either like empty full hop, in which case he's vulnerable to the jump shine and stuff like that, or he can full hop instant aerial, in which case he's vulnerable to you like sharking his landing. And he doesn't, he can't really do both at the same time. He can't put himself in a position where he's actionable and have a move out. And so a lot of times, basically, and the thing is against this guy, I'm sure you can figure out a way to beat his full hops by using that sort of thing. But against like really good foxes, the way it kind of works is that as long as you keep your laser spacing consistent and you don't give up any like dumb openings, Fox's full hopping to platform is generally a stalemate in the sense that like you do not get an advantage and you do not get a disadvantage, but you did get a little bit of laser damage. And so it'll kind of just repeat as like a cycle over and over until the fox is too predictable with their full hop and you get like a laser shine. So like if he just keeps full hopping and that is all he is doing and he's not even trying to hit you, eventually it is a winning situation for Falco because eventually you will just jump shine him as he tries to full hop away or short hop up air him.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of like my way of dealing with it is like, well, eventually they'll get really sort of predictable with it if they keep doing it. And, and a lot of times, there's spots where you're like laser and they full hop and you're like laser and they full hop. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, you can like laser wave dash under up tilt and stuff like that. There are ways to beat it if they get too predictable. If I saw a VOD of it or whatever, I'd be able to probably help out more. You can, but like there's not super consistent ways to beat it every time. You can do this kind of delayed laser where you go like, and then it's really hard to do on the timing this fox is doing, but it's kind of like you do like, one sec, it's like that one where you kind of hit him like just before he lands, and then you can kind of get like a nair or something, or like an up tilt. Like I'll do something like this, or I'll hit like that, and you can kind of use the high laser to sometimes sort of snipe him out of it. But the important thing is to know is that like basically his full hop does not give him an advantage ever unless you let him get an advantage. Outside of the whole like full hopping in aerial thing, in which case like you can have the expected value in your favor. So we're kind of like ignoring that, okay? Like, we're ignoring him just, like, take laser, full hop in there or whatever, because if you apply the stuff we talked about, you should have a winning expected value on that, and therefore he's not really going to do it, or it's irrelevant. So the only thing to really worry about is, like, full hopping backward or, like, full hopping straight up, in which case he will never be able to get an advantage out of it ever, and you have a possibility of getting an advantage out of it as well as the laser damage, so it's just sort of like a winning situation for you in the end. And that's, I think, like the best way to look at it is like, yeah, sure, go do your full hop thing, but like you're basically just every time Fox does that dumb full hop or that the full hop to just, oh, we're not playing the game anymore, you have a chance to hit them and they never have a chance to hit you. And that's like kind of the way I think about it.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see how much time we have. 15 minutes left, or 16 minutes. Do you want to talk about the tournament mentality stuff, or keep going on this, or what do you want to do?
I think I have a lot to work on already with the gameplay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to the mentality stuff. So I have a couple. So the first one would be, so I'm going to this local in like a few hours. It's probably our biggest local back, and we're gonna have a couple top 100 players there. And I wanted to know what your mentality is as an unranked player going against someone that's, like I'm not saying like I'm gonna like I want to win obviously, but like obviously not expecting that I can pull the upset, but what is the mentality of upsetting a top player or like going into it with the right mentality that you could possibly win, you know?
Hmm. Um. Hmm. I don't really think that. Hmm. All right, give me 1 second to think about it.
All good.
Like, you shouldn't really, at the level you're at, you shouldn't be trying to beat players who are better than you. You should be trying to be better at the game than them.
Fair.
So, like, if you manage to steal a win from some player, and okay, so if you really want to get an upset, here's what you do: focus entirely on punish game and hope they're playing bad. That is the correct mentality if you want to upset a player who is better than you. I kid you not. It's okay. Just focus hard. Every time I get a hit, I'm going to kill him. And neutral is, that's just up to the dice. And then you sort of hope that they miss their L cancels and sort of get hit by stuff. That is the best way to beat a player better than you every time. Like that is if you're trying to just show up and hope to get a win 1 out of every 8 times or whatever, that is the way to do it. But I don't think that is the best way to improve, obviously, but that's definitely the best way to get an upset. I think that the best mentality is just to think like, if let's say you're playing a fox, right? And you're like, if my Falco is better at Falco Fox than they are at Fox Falco, I will win. And that's just it. And if I am not as good at the matchup as they are, then I'll lose. And, if you go and you play them and you lose, especially if you have a Slippy or a VOD or something, those are really important. Because then okay, well, they were better than me, but in which ways, and why, and what could I have done to win the set, And then you look over it and you see ways you could have improved, ways you could have done better, and then you say, okay, next time I play them, we'll see again whether my improved Falco is good enough to beat their Fox Falco.
Right.
And so it's kind of like the analogy I like to use is of like a talent show, where like everyone sort of practices their act for the talent show, and then like let's say you're up second for the talent show, and the guy who goes up first gets up on the stage, and he does something insane. Like he just does, he's swallowing swords that are on fire while riding a unicycle. And while playing death metal music or something. Like, he's just insane. And you have your whole like a cappella thing going on, and you're like, oh no, like it's over. Like the right way to perform in that situation is not to at the last minute try to make your act better than theirs. Because that doesn't make sense. You're not gonna be able to improv a better act than theirs at the last second at all. Like, what your goal should be is to just do the thing you practiced as well as you can, and if your performance that you put on is not as good as theirs, that's something that you should fix at the drawing board. You fix it with your planning and your practicing. You don't fix it in tournament that like, wow, this guy is fast, so I gotta be really fast, faster than I practice. Like, no, like that doesn't, like, that's never going to lead to success ever. And I would say that there's a huge amount of the time where people just can't perform against top players because they're playing their friends, and they have their punish, and they have their neutral, and they have their edge guards, and they have all the little things that they do, and then they get in a set against a top player who they really want to upset, and they're like, holy moly, I gotta have better neutral, better tech skill, better punishes than I've ever had against these other people because this person is really good. And it's like, you can't do that in the moment. Ever. That's not something that humans can do. So it's like, when you play a player who is better than you, just be comfortable. That is my best advice. Is just be comfortable and do the things. Don't panic. Just try to play normal. The more normal you play, the better, because the VOD will be better to analyze. Because I hate when I'm giving a lesson to somebody and I'm analyzing their tournament set, and then I go, "Whoa, what was that?" And they go, "Oh, I don't do that normally." And they go, "How about that?" And they're like, "Oh, no, I just thought maybe it'll catch him because he's better than me or whatever." And it's like, like all you can do when you analyze your VOD in that spot is be like, "Well, don't do those next time. Just play normal." And so
Right.
like the more normal you can play, the better. And just accept your wins or losses as flaw in your current skill level. That is what I have been doing since Melee came back, and it's been helping me much more than the mentality of like, I will figure out a way to win. I will thread the needle and find their one flaw from childhood and abuse it on this edge guard to win the set because I'm the greatest. Like do that, or it's like, okay, well, I missed my combo because I didn't practice that combo before. I need to practice the combo more. And that's a bit more straightforward and it is a bit more realistic.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mainly the thing was is that like before like so like I've played a lot of like since I've been playing tournaments for a while, I've played a lot of people that are obviously like top 100 or just like way better than me. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a lot of times it was either like at first I would like get really nervous and then I got rid of the nervousness and then it was I really want to win, I really want to win, and obviously that's bad too. So this kind of segues into my like next question. It's like, how do you, uh, when you play someone that's on paper like worse than you, how do
Mm-hmm.
you, uh, not underestimate them, obviously, and not fear losing to someone that's worse than you?
That is a very difficult problem. The answer is basically the same as the other one, which is like, why do you think they are worse than you? And it's like, are they worse than you because you're better at the game? And if you're better at the game, like you'll win. Like it's like people
Right.
it's like people think like people think that, oh well, I'm playing someone better, I have to be able to like punch up, and then when I'm playing someone worse, I have to be able to like kind of hold them down. And it's like, yeah, there is some merit to the fact that like every week when I win my local or I go to my local and I beat the same people, there is like an element of like, oh, I know the things that make them choke. I know that they double jump in this spot. Just, you pick these things up from playing people like a lot of times. So there are like, yeah, there are ways that you can like abuse worse players, and I think that it is an important skill as you get better to know like how to abuse people. Like, oh, this guy's really bad against lasers, so I just need to shoot more lasers. Or like, oh, this person doesn't know how to DI. Like, some people don't know how to ASDI down air, like Falco down air. Like, nobody ever tells Smash Daddy, please. Because he just gets hit by down air and down air, down air, down air, down air, down air, and he never ASDI's down. I'll tell him next time I see him probably, but but like some people just don't really know how to do things, and it's okay to abuse that. But in general, playing someone who is quote worse than you, there has to be a reason why you think they're worse.
Okay, so the reason why typically is like either A, I've beaten them like at least a dozen times to them either never beating me or beating me once or something.
Mm-hmm.
And or like well like that combined with the fact that I know that I put in a lot more work than most of the people at my local,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm not saying that they don't get better, but I feel like my rate of improvement is definitely higher and that like it kind of shows from
Okay.
like how every time I play them. So like
Mm-hmm.
the one time that I might lose to someone that I haven't lost to in like 2 years or something, and it's like it hurt, it stings, obviously it hurts the ego,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Well,
I don't
yeah.
know if it was a bad day for me or if it was maybe I underestimated them, et cetera, et
Well,
cetera.
every player has kind of like a range of variance in terms of where they are. And so, like, even for, the best players, Mango on his worst day does lose to Spark on his best day? Like, that is kind of how things work. Eventually, you will have bad days, and it will sometimes coincide with a worse player's better day, but that doesn't if that is the case, you will not be able to stop it by worrying about it.
Right.
Like, if that is how things are going to go, then it's how it's going to go. But if you are a better player, you know, it's kind of like, you're arm wrestling someone and you keep beating them in arm wrestling and they're like, fine, let's go again. And you're like, you know what if this time they're just twice as strong and they murder me and everyone laughs at me? And it's like, how can they be stronger suddenly? They would have to have improved in order to, overpower you. But, if you, and there's so many times where I'm like, basically the joke I make is, it's not really a joke, it's true, but it's funny, is that every single Verdugo I go to, and even during the period where I won like 40 straight or something stupid, like, I don't think I ever won 40 straight, but it was like probably 38 out of 40, something like that. Even during that period, I would just beat like nut every single week. Every time when I was going to go to the tournament, I was like, dude, today's the day. He's going to get me. He's going to get me. I don't know how, but like, I'm terrified. And he'd walk up in the tournament like, I've been practicing. I'm going to get you. And then I play him. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I'm a better player. Like, like what am I afraid of? Like, if I'm better at the game, So it's kind of just, you have to separate your idea and expectations from the reality of the game. There is a reason why you've beaten this person 12 times in a row, and it's likely because you're better. And there's probably a reason why you're losing to the other guy. And it's probably because he's better. Or they're better. And it's kind of just, you gotta just not really worry about it too much. Your goal should always be to play normal. That should just always be your goal. Just, am I using lasers the right amount? Have I stopped using lasers? Like, am I doing this? Am I rolling all over the place? Am I shielding for no reason? And you kind of just have a bunch of little checks of like, am I still playing normal? And as long as you're playing normal, the results aren't your fault. Like, the results, as long as you, like, if you don't choke and you just play your game, then the results are simply a product of who is more consistent and who is stronger and who knows more about the game, which is the goal. Like, the goal is that the better player should win. Like, and that's why I kind of tell people, like, don't really try to get upsets. Just try to get better until it's not an upset. Until if people are like, well, yeah, of course you beat that person, you're better, Like, it's like, the people that you beat every time, like, you play somebody, like, you play some, like, O-Tour at your local, and you just beat them without thinking, the people you're trying to upset, I play those people, and I beat them without thinking. And it's like, I don't have to try to upset them because I'm better. And that's just how it is. Like, the game is just about getting better. And once you get better, you beat people without even trying.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just real quick because we're reaching the end.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes left.
Just want to do like a quick recap of everything.
Of course.
So like the mentality stuff, like I kind of get the gist. As for Falco Fox, we were talking a lot about on my dashback lasers, trying to dash in and dare more instead, and then also
okay,
having them knowing when I'm on the attack and when I'm on the defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when you're on offense, you want to dash in more to start the neutral, like when he's scared of you, and when you're scared of him, you want to dash back a little bit more, and then just recognize that, like, when you dash in, don't necessarily commit to it, because you are showing him, like, I'm aggressive, here I come with the dash in. You can just keep dash dancing and bait something. Similarly, with the defensive thing, you can run back, you can run away and laser, or you can make it look like you're running away to laser, and then either jump in with an attack or a laser. And also, when you're on the aggressive end, don't forget about dash in, fade back, dare. It's very good against Fox, and I didn't see it at all. There are literally neutral situations that I play every day where I do dash in, fade back, dare. Fox spaces for the full dare. Then I do dash in, fade back, dare again. He again spaces for the full dare. And then I full drift dare in, and it hits him. Like, so you should at least have that situation come up every now and then, and that'll help you know, like, okay, for sure that. The other thing, dash full hop out of the corner.
Right, right.
Um, but that's the main thing is with the neutral. I need you to like pay attention to like the other half of not just like one defensive. So I want to do my defense the best. It's like one defensive. Can this be an offense? And like while I'm aggressive, can this be a bait and like tricking him into doing something dumb? You know.
Yeah, that kind of hits it right on the head. I think that that's kind of what I've been like aiming to get to, but you kind of painted a pretty clear picture.
Okay. Awesome. Great.
Yeah, man. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, sounds good. You too. You already sent me the money and stuff, so just if you have any extra questions or clips or whatever, feel free to send them over and I'll talk to you about them.
All right, sounds good.
All right, have a good one. Peace.
All right, peace.